Remember when people were complaining about how Starfox was just another remake? What's the point of retelling the Lilat Wars a fifth time? One, two, three, four, five times? Why? Well, that discourse seems to have disappeared, at least the majority of it. A demo has come out, and while I didn't play it because I already know I'm gonna pick it up, a lot of people are saying, wow, this game might be peak. The negativity that was surrounding this game is certainly there, but the combination of a $50 to $60 price tag, new cutscenes and voice acting, refined graphics that actually look like they're from the current era of consoles, holy shit, this looks good. All of this packaged together has built up a hype that is overshadowing the negativity that was there before. And I'm excited, not just because I've never actually played a Starfox game, apart from like an hour of Zero, but because Starfox to me is a modern day example of why Nintendo has such valuable IP. Starfox has not been successful for a while. The last two games that came out are not what we'd consider great sales wise. Please don't eat me alive, Starfox Assault fans. I'm sure the game was great, it just didn't sell well. And yet here we are, in the Lord's year of 2026, and we're getting a high budget Starfox game with what seems to be a marketing push to make this franchise more than it has ever been before. If there's one thing where no one in gaming can touch Nintendo, it's in their IP. Yeah, there are the obvious ones like Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Pokemon, but even their smaller stuff like Fire Emblem and games from their partners like Xenoblade actually gets so much attention compared to the other two console manufacturers. This is not meant to be a dig at Sony and Microsoft. I feel like making a brand new IP today is much harder than it seems, and my ignorant ass can't imagine what goes on behind the scenes when making a brand new game. But when I see something like Fire Emblem, a franchise that took years to become popular overseas finally reached success after multiple games and attempts, then I can't help but feel like Nintendo have a very special formula down that others don't. Smash certainly helped have the franchise in people's minds, but it wasn't the only factor. Marth was in Melee in 2001, but I feel like Fire Emblem didn't start to pick up steam until Awakening, which was released in 2012. And in that moment, it feels like Nintendo capitalized on this. Awakening comes out into Fates, into Shadows of Valentia, and finally into Three Houses, which made the series what it is today. It's now a game that can end the Nintendo Direct. Between Melee and Awakening, 5 Fire Emblem games came out. Nintendo saw something in this IP, and despite it not being the mega hit seller that their other IPs were, they kept trying and building a fandom through these games until they finally landed on a formula that worked. It's not just Fire Emblem 2, look at how much they pushed Pikmin. I have a little container that's Pikmin themed in my office, and my coworker was like, oh, what are those? And when I said Pikmin, she was like, oh, that's cute. I saw a bunch of people wearing hats of them in New York last week. It made me curious. Like, yeah, Nintendo keeps pushing Pikmin, so naturally more eyes are going to be on them, and as time goes on, as long as Nintendo doesn't give up, they're going to become more and more popular. To circle this back to Starfox though, we're at a point where we're getting this Starfox game, and I have this feeling with how much eyes are on this game that it's going to sell well long term. Once again, the Starfox IP has primarily survived and become more and more popular thanks to Smash. The Starfox characters are fun to play, they're agile, they're cool, they have aura. And while Nintendo kept trying and admittedly not doing a great job sometimes, Smash has certainly kept the IP afloat. And now it does seem like Nintendo are doing it right. Yeah, you might not like the art style, I certainly don't. I'm pretty sure I saw this thing chasing me in my nightmares as a kid. But it's striking, it leaves an impression, it makes you curious to check it out, at least to check out the demo, which is free, and see for yourself what the game is all about. I really do feel like this game is going to sell well. Not just because game with high pretty graphics equals good selling game, but because once again, Nintendo have put the time to build up this IP, even if a lot of it was through Smash. One more thing, I feel like Nintendo does put themselves in a great position to take risks or to take a chance on an IP before more than other companies have, on the merit alone that their games are not as expensive to make as other games, and thus, their expectations are lesser as a result sales-wise. They aren't building huge, cinematic, realistic-looking marvels that are getting as close to real life as possible. The whole point of a Nintendo game is that it's fun.
If it's not fun, why bother?
I saw someone say that it's funny to see Nintendo fans get excited about Starfox like it's gonna sell anywhere near what GTA 6 is gonna sell. And I think it's a little silly to compare the two. Star Fox will never be something like GTA 6. It's not gonna sell like 30 million copies. I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 cracks 100 mil. But that's the beauty of Nintendo IP. They don't need to. Don't get me wrong. Nintendo would love it if it did. But expectations for this game aren't that it's gonna be a 30 million seller. I mean, look at Star Fox 64 with a cute 5 million. I'm sure that's probably realistically what this game will sell. Maybe even more. And that's okay. Because if there's one thing that I know, it's that if it does sell well, Nintendo will capitalize it to make another, then another, and another, and we end up right back here again. But maybe on a grander scale. We're at this weird point in gaming where the major companies are recycling the same old IP over and over again. We know we're gonna get a Mario, a Zelda, a God of War, a Halo, and those games are gonna be good. Even Halo Infinite, I know it gets a lot of flack, but I enjoyed playing the multiplayer with my friends there for a while. But to me, I've always found it cool when these companies revisit old IPs, even if it's just a remake. Microsoft do have a lot of IP that they can try to build up, but instead opted into buying new IP, which I think hurt them in the long run. I think a remake of Banjo-Kazooie at like $50 would probably end up selling pretty well. But Nuts and Bolts failed, and after that, Xbox never looked back again. They were going to revive Perfect Dark, but they ended up going for a higher budget that was incredibly high for an IP that they were trying to revive. I see a lot of PlayStation fans clamoring for a Jak and Daxter or a Sly Cooper. Even on Nintendo's side, there are IP that I wish would have gotten more of a push. I wish we got more Kid Icarus. Uprising is one of my favorite games of all time. And at this point, I'd be happy with just a remake. But maybe that'll happen another day. I don't know. Maybe after the next Smash Brother comes out so that Sakurai can make it. So that's probably not for another 10 years. When I look at Star Fox and I see the excitement from fans, it makes it all the more depressing that I don't see other companies do something similar. People are excited for a remake of a game that can apparently be completed in a few hours. And yet we don't see a lot of this capitalization on big opportunities, or a marketing push to build these IP back up again. Star Fox is modern proof of that. I have no doubt in my mind that this game is going to sell well, or at least meet expectations. Because like I said, if Nintendo are good at one thing, it's that they value their IP more than anything in the world. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.